Hi, folks. Welcome to the Donnie Williams Show. This is the show where I, Todd Anderson, tell a story or reflect on my life as an actor. And I do it because a drummer named Donnie told me to. I admit that I've sort of hijacked Blursh over this last week to complain about losing a job to a false COVID test. And then this is the Donnie Williams Show where I tell stories about acting. So I guess I'm going to tell you the whole damn story. So, other than booking a COVID backup job in January, this was the first job, first real gig of the year that I booked. It was very exciting. And my wife's spring break is this week, so it's kind of nice knowing that I'd be going into my wife's spring break with a gig under the belt. So the wardrobe, which was supposed to shoot or did shoot on last Thursday, and on Tuesday I had to get a PCR test so I could get on the lot on Wednesday for wardrobe fitting, and then on the way to the wardrobe, I had to get another PCR test so I could work the next day. So drive-through PCR test. Then I went to the wardrobe fitting, which was lovely. Everything went well. Went home, did all my prep work. Memorized the lines, the dialogue, and made some choices, and did some work getting ready for it. And then at 7 o'clock, the lab that had done the PCR test, a woman called from the lab to tell me that I had a positive result. And then, I had to call my manager and say, does this mean I'm fired? What does this mean? Because nobody from the production actually called. So they suddenly had to scramble to find a replacement for me the next day, and I lost the job and the money and everything. And then that night, when I found out that I had this positive and that, no symptoms at all, I took one of those at-home antigen tests to see, and it came back negative. And then the next morning, just to see, I did another antigen test, and it also came back negative. And then the following day, last Friday, I went to CVS and had a PCR test done, which the results came back the next day as negative. So it was a false positive, and I lost this job. It was a soul crushing experience, all because of a false positive. And then I ran into this buddy of mine who said that he knew a guy who got a false positive and lost an entire national commercial campaign, which that's a massive amount of money that he lost to a false positive. I guess, the silver lining for me is my, one day guest star, wasn't that much money, and it certainly wouldn't have done anything to change my career trajectory or anything. So it was just a gig. But it's still, it's tough. It's tough to know that you're instantly fucking replaceable. And it's tough to know that it was a false positive. And, if this is not, unfortunately not uncommon at this point. And I'm sure SAG-AFTRA is working around the clock to try and figure this one out. I'm sure Fran Drescher hasn't slept in days. I'm sure they're going to work it out. Figure this thing out. Anyway, that's it. That's the whole story. This has been a Blursh production. Blur.